Gentleman yields. Chair recognizes Mr. Self.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is one of the more concerning hearings I have ever been in. A little bit of background, I do not have your experience in the region, but over a 20-year period, I had 5 assignments when I dealt directly with the region, starting in 1984, dealing with Iran. Most of my assignments as a military planner. I was in Bagram early in 2002, stationed in, headquartered in Bagram. I was in IUD later for the Iraqi Freedom Operation. With that background, our enduring values are not shared in this region. I have heard nothing, and I've read nothing in the preparation for this hearing that it is filled with naivete. Now, you are given the position of having done much of this under both President Trump and President Biden. I am not questioning your motives, sir, but we have to focus on the fact that the withdrawal from Afghanistan was a strategic blunder of monumental proportions. Monumental proportions. Putin started moving troops within 2 months after that strategic blunder. And as the 20-year forever wars, our nation, our military, this nation's military is not meant for nation building. It is meant to go and break things and impose our national will, our national interest on our adversaries. That is the use of the United States military. So I want to focus on that one strategic blunder. But I also want to read for people, we've talked about the Doha Agreement. The actual title of the Doha Agreement, I think, is instructive. The agreement for bringing peace to Afghanistan between the Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan, which is not recognized by the United States as a state and is known as the Taliban, and the United States of America. That's the formal title of what we call the Doha Agreement. The Taliban, it is naive to think the Taliban was ever going to live up to anything. My 20 years, over a span of 20 years dealing with the region, this entire process that we've heard today is extremely naive. And sir, I find you at the middle of it. I will tell you, I firmly disagree with your statement that the restart of the war being the most important factor in the withdrawal. I absolutely disagree with your characterization of that. But my question to you, sir, is you said earlier the Taliban was largely in compliance with their counterterrorism agreement. Can you justify that statement for us?
Yeah. First, on the last statement, I said I'm not in the government. I don't read the intelligence now. But based on what I read of what the intelligence community puts out in unclassified products, it appears to me that they are largely in compliance, based on what I read of the reports. But you shouldn't take my word for it. You should call experts who are monitoring the situation very closely in our government. We have a significant body of expertise that monitors this, and I relied on them when I was in government.
Yeah,
now,
but let me just help you there.
Yeah.
The UN Sanctions Monitoring Team released a report last month,
right,
in January,
right,
that says about the relationship between the Taliban and al-Qaeda remains close.
right.
And the latter maintains a holding pattern in Afghan under Taliban patronage.
Right.
We need to understand that the Taliban, and let me ask you a yes or no question. What is the status of the Taliban? No, sir. What is the status of the Taliban today? We don't recognize them as a government.
Right.
We understand that they are in physical control of Afghanistan. What is the official U.S. position on the Taliban today?
Again, you should ask the U.S. government officials, but my understanding is that we transact with them, we meet with them when we have concerns, we raise with them on particular issues, we interact with them. We don't have a presence, as you know, in Afghanistan. We don't recognize the Taliban government. We haven't implemented parts of the Doha Agreement because of our unhappiness with what they are doing and not doing. So, but those are questions and issues for the current official, the nuances of what they are doing or not. I'm telling you what I read.
Yes, if I may quickly, Chairman, Germany just became the third largest economy in the world. If we're talking Ukraine funding, the EU needs to step forward. Our GDP is 27 trillion. EU together is 20 trillion. Russia's is 2.5 trillion. We need to push Europe as a whole to be funding the Ukraine war. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I yield back.
Gentlemen.